you wanna be my friend? It's Lily's friend project. She asked people to apply to be her friend, and then she interviewed them. And when she interviewed them, she saw New York City's a big, big place. Have you got a shot with the human race? Is loneliness what we've all come to expect? From Midwood, Queens to 150th Street, it's Lily's Friend Project.
I'm Lily, and this is the final episode of the Lily Dingus Project. Psych! This is the last episode of the Lily Friend Project. Tricked ya! When I started this project, my goal, when I initially put up the 400 flyers asking people to apply to be my friend, was to conduct an experiment into friendship. Not only did I want to answer the ever-elusive question of what is connection, but I also wanted to somehow emerge with a foolproof system for friend-making. However, here we are, 2 years and 9 episodes later, and I'm still not sure entirely what connection means. But I feel more connected than I have in years. So, for this final episode, I did what any reasonable person would do when faced with an existential question they can't answer. I asked a bunch of random people to define connection for me. First, I asked a poet.
Connection is being present within an experience. It could be between two people, it could be to an idea, it could be to a philosophy, it could be to a feeling, but it's being present within whatever that is.
Thank you. Good answer.
Then I called my mom.
Okay, Mom, what is connection?
Connection is a point where two people...
Wait, you're going... I lost you. I can't hear you.
No, I just stopped talking. Connection is when non-duality can occur. Connection is when there's a breakdown of separation, and there's a commonality and way of being able to see and hear and understand the other person.
Okay, period. She's in a period. Thank you so much, Mom. I'm gonna say goodbye. Appreciate you. Love you.
Love you. Bye, honey.
Bye.
I asked a barista.
I think connection is something that's maybe unspoken, like someone who just gets you and you don't have to explain yourself all the time, and it's just a mutual agreement that you know how I feel, and I think that's a connection.
I called a therapist.
Connection is about ways that people can speak from the heart with each other, whether it is through speech, through movement in dance, through music in song, through body, through touch, all the different ways that we express ourselves. When it comes from the heart, it then makes connection.
I even called a wedding chapel in Las Vegas and spoke to one of the people who marry hundreds of people every week. What is connection? What do you think connection is?
I feel like that's a really loaded question because connection can be so many things for so many different people. But I think that that's a really great question to consider. Connection is deeply personal, you know? For some people, it's as simple as this person told me a joke when I was having the worst day ever, and the connection that they wanted to just make me smile. I'm a total stranger. There's also the connection that comes along with we've been together for 6 months, and like my parents are like one of my parents are sick or dying or something, and like this person is here for me in a way that no one ever has been, and cares so much. And then, of course, you have the other end where it's like, I have never cared about anyone in my life, and like this person came along and completely changed that for me.
And somehow, on election day, I randomly ran into Brad Lander, who was running for mayor of New York City. I literally skirted up to him on my bike with my post-gym hair, and he politely obliged me.
About a week ago, I cross-endorsed the run and it turned out to be more like solidarity, a joyful energy, and doing something together to try to make the city better.
So what about it is connection? It's like solidarity, common goal?
Yeah, like we love this city, we want something better for it, we each kind of took a risk to make that happen, and it's built a really nice connection.
So it's like connection is when you have like something in common with someone?
I mean, here I think it's like we have this thing in common, something we really care about, the future of our city. We each took a risk to do it. This is an unusual form of politics, this cross endorsements and ranked choice voting, and yeah, then it's like built on some shared values also.
Thank you.
All right.
But my favorite answer came from a philosopher I know.
For me, connection is emotional and then also contextualizing emotion. So when you're around someone, you kind of pick up on their feelings, just kind of without any context. You might see someone crying, you start crying. You might just start laughing when you see someone laughing. And that's one fun level of connection. But then the deeper level is sort of trying to understand what's behind that, and the kind of effort that goes into that. So,
And does friendship come from connection?
yeah, I think it has to, right? Where else would it come from?
So it comes down to effort.
Yeah, if you truly value connection and value learning from people that aren't like you and are from different backgrounds, like I think that's a big part of connection too, is wanting to learn from people that aren't like you, and that takes effort.
While we sit with all of these thoughts about connection, let me answer some questions I've been getting about this project. Cue the FAQs.
How many people applied?
70 people filled out the questionnaire.
How many people did you interview?
I interviewed 24 people.
Did you make any friends?
Yes, I did. I regularly hang out with Emma and Renata, or Ren, as I call her, and I would say I'm really close with both of them, and we hang out quite a lot. So I'd say I made really 2 very good friends from this project. But, it's hard because I feel a friend's affinity for everyone I interviewed, and I would hang out with all of them more as well. I also feel like the focus of the project shifted away from simply making friends, and it turned into kind of something like deeper and a little more like internal than just kind of the numbers game of it in this way. So it feels kind of weird to answer this question sometimes.
Why did you do this?
Because I was lonely. And, I also felt super inspired by the rehearsal by Nathan Fielder, by a lot of reality TV. Big shouts out to the Real Housewives franchises, which are essentially just long, extended documentations of female friend groups and friendship itself. So I think all of that, both my personal experience and the things that I was getting inspired by and watching.
Were you scared about safety when interviewing random people?
Yes. Every interview I had one of my friends there with me, though. I also interviewed everyone in a doorman building, and I sent the interview schedules out to 2 different people ahead of time. So I tried to make sure that there were a lot of people around and there were safety measures in place for if something were to happen. But everyone was super cool, kind, and respectful, and nothing ever happened that made me feel unsafe. I also had friends there in the interview rooms as well, so that the applicant could feel safe too, or just feel a little more comfortable. I think probably on their part, like it felt a little more scary to come to like some random building and be interviewed by someone that they can't see and they don't know what their vibe is or really anything about me. So I tried to be really mindful of that as well and assure the applicants that there were people around too.
What are you gonna do next?
I don't know. Depends on a lot of things. Watch this space. You know, there's this Rumi quote I found while working on this project. Feeling lonely and ignoble indicates that you haven't been patient. When I first read that, it kind of pissed me off. Patient? I'd been patient for years, waiting for friendship to happen naturally, waiting for New York City to feel like home, waiting to feel less alone. But I think what Rumi meant wasn't passive waiting. He meant the kind of patience that comes from accepting where you are instead of constantly running toward where you think you should be.
What does friendship mean to you?
I think friendship, it can mean so many different things. I think it can be different connections and different friendships can fulfill different spaces in someone's life. But overall, I think it's just like it's like such a special relationship in your life because it's the least transactional of all the relationships we have. And especially when we're adults, it's very meaningful because we don't have as much free time as we did and as we do in other phases of our life. Especially like I feel like my age, kind of mid-20s, it's like kind of like a career time for a lot of people. It's not like, so, a lot of people are working a lot. So the free time you do have, it's like
valuable.
Super valuable.
And I don't want to spend it with people that are going to make me not feel like my best self.
Yeah, totally. You only want winners or keepers around,
Exactly. I don't have time to waste with.
Yeah, exactly. It's like having like, and also it's like the world's kind of beating you down, you're trying to get your shit together, figure out how to be an adult, and if you have like people that make you feel like shit, it really impacts your life. Like it's, for me, I can't do that anymore. It really weighs you down, so.
I respect like the seriousness in which you've approached all this with.
Thank you.
Because a lot of people think about these things and crave these things, but it seems like you care enough to have done it.
Oh,
I don't really know your life. I don't know what else you've done, but
I think that's fair. Like, it's definitely taken a lot of work to do this.
Yeah, it's just refreshing seeing someone be passionate about something to propel them to the point of action. Right? Because I feel like I've heard a lot of great ideas. I've heard a lot of good ideas, but have I seen a lot of good ideas come to fruition? Not really. So I respect the hustle.
Samuel said that in the middle of the project, and it meant a lot to me. Because honestly, there are moments when I wondered if this whole thing was just an elaborate performance art around my own loneliness. I think my opinion has stayed largely the same over the importance of friendship, but my approach and mindset is entirely different. But here's what I've realized. Maybe the performance was the point. Maybe putting myself out there in this ridiculous, vulnerable way, literally posting flyers like I was selling a used couch, was exactly what I needed to do. Since the first episode of this podcast was about disconnection, I always wanted the end to be about connection, to validate what I did, to prove it wasn't a vain waste of time. But now I see that I still don't know what connection is. What I do know is that I feel more connected to myself, to the people around me, to the city. The biggest thing I learned was about accepting disappointment. The disappointment I had in myself, in what my 20s were supposed to look like, in my friendship circles, in the gap between the ideal of New York City and the reality of it. Instead of constantly trying to optimize my way out of that disappointment, I had to sit with it. I had to acknowledge that my life wasn't matching some Instagram version I'd constructed in my head. And weirdly, That created space. Space to see the actually incredible friends I already had. Space to notice the beauty in this chaotic city. Space to stop performing connection and start actually experiencing it. The shame I'd carried about friendship conflict began to lift. If these relationships were going to be real, capable of weathering the differences that create growth, they needed to be strong enough to handle honest conversation about what wasn't working. I'd started this project hoping to decode connection, to create some foolproof system for making friends. Instead, I learned something more uncomfortable. That connection might happen when we stop running from disconnection. Since the project ended, I've made more genuine friends than I have in years of overthinking it. Not because I figured out some magic formula, but because I stopped being so afraid of seeming desperate or weird or too much. Maybe Nietzsche was right, that we become more ourselves through estrangement, not just from others, but from our own illusions about what friendship should be. I think about all the people I interviewed. Oncam, finding freedom in K-Town. Samuel, creating sacred space in his recording studio. Leia, navigating tradition and independence. Sam and Siggy, learning when to give and when to protect themselves. Francis and Renata, dealing with friendship ghosts. M, who got away. Still open to meeting you, M. Lucas, walking away from conventional paths. Marley, finding her people in subcultures. All of them were doing the same thing in different ways. Figuring out how to be themselves while staying open to others. How to belong without disappearing. How to connect without losing their edges. So, what is connection? I still don't know. But I can feel it, even though I can't define it. Maybe connection isn't something you define. Maybe it's something you surrender to. Maybe it happens in the spaces between trying so hard and completely giving up.
I'm the tape girl, and he's the flyer man.
Maybe it's putting up 400 flyers around New York City asking strangers to be your friend.
This is the most amazing thing I've seen.
Not because it's a good idea, but because you're lonely and you care enough to do something weird about it.
At the moment, it's snowing, it's cold. I just feel so stupid. Like, I don't have very many people signed up that want to be my friend. I'm just feeling really dark about the whole thing. Like, what the hell am I
Maybe
doing?
it's sitting in a borrowed therapist's office with a video camera.
And Alan. Alan is already my friend. And this is Alan's office. And Matt is an applicant that we got from the Friend Project.
Asking people to tell you their
What is
dreams.
success to me, or like what is the legacy that I want? And I think I realized.
And their friendship breakups.
I look back on it, she definitely had like a lot of like personal issues that she was working through, so it like wasn't like a common...
And their thoughts on Billie Eilish.
You said that you think Billie Eilish has really impacted the culture.
Oh my god, yeah.
Are you like a Billie Eilish fan?
I'm not a Billie Eilish fan. I'm a Billie Eilish.
I interviewed the weekend before, this past weekend, for the first time, and that was kind of a crazy experience. Everyone was just so nice, and my heart is just so full, and it just really is kind of crazy how many people that are already my friends and then that I've met through this are so willing to give me...
Maybe it's asking random people to define connection, even when you're pretty sure they don't know either.
That was a little vague, I realize, but it's a very vague question to ask the universe. What is connection, you know?
I do know. Or maybe connection is just this. Showing up as honestly as you can and seeing who shows up with you.
So what's your name?
Christian.
My name is Hannah.
My name is Sindara.
My name is Daniel.
This has been the Lilly Friend Project. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Thanks for letting me figure this all out loud with you. And if you're feeling lonely, and if you're wondering where your people are, or you're disappointed in how your 20s are going, I totally see you. You're not alone in that feeling. even when it feels like you are. And who knows? It's more than likely that you are exactly the type of friend that someone out there needs. This is Lily, signing off from the Lilly Friend Project. The Lilly Friend Project was created and hosted by me, Lily Hogan. It was post-produced, edited, and sound designed by Noreen Mullick. The theme music was created and performed by Bridge Gamble. Special thanks to everyone who shared their thoughts on connection with me, especially my mom. Love you, Mom. If you liked this podcast, please head on over to your platform of choice and rate and review us. It really makes a difference. Additionally, we're on TikTok and Instagram, just the show title, so you can just type that into those platforms. And also, I created a secondary questionnaire, which I put on the website. Again, lilyfriendproject.com. It's just the show title.com. And there you can fill out this secondary questionnaire, which will automatically spit you out into a Discord community where we'll be doing live events and just generally trying to build community the Lilly Friend Project way. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.